Oh, I'll just move it a little bit closer. Test, test, test. It just makes me feel comfortable. Okay. Thank you so much. Cheers, cheers. We are here, and that means you are listening to the Unbroken Experience with Cindy B on Power 108.9. I'm so excited for tonight's show because I have my sister circle, my girls, joining me tonight. In particular, we're celebrating our girlfriend, Shamika Meek Meek, birthday today. Actually, today. I'm so excited to have them on the show. But just in good friend style, they are lay, honey. But they ought to be happy. I've got Sin's Corner coming up after the break. And of course, you know I have that 7:30 crazy for you at the 7:30 hour. And what would Sin say at the top of the 8 o'clock hour? When we come back for Sin's Corner, I want to talk about something that I have just been witnessing quite a bit these days. And I want to kind of talk about when is it time to quit? When is it quitting? Excuse me. When is it quitting? And when is it actually time to leave? Okay. When is it time to leave? And when is it you're just a quitter? So I want to talk to you all about that, kind of some of the things that I've seen lately within the last recently, within the last couple years, but just a lot lately in the last few months. And it's kind of burning me up a little bit. So make sure you stay tuned in and share, share, share. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Cindy B on Power 108.9, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. It's time for Sin's Corner. When I bring you in my corner, if I have a guest, usually I'm talking about what they have going on. Most of the guests that come on the show are business professionals in some kind of way. But today, I kind of want to bring you into my corner to talk about something that I have seen kind of quite a bit. I think I don't know if it's a Gen Z thing. I think that's the right generation of the new generation, or a result of the pandemic. People just tired of all their life they had to fight, or what it is. But I want to talk about, when is it time to leave, and when is it that you're just quitting and you don't know how to build anything. So I have seen in the business world. I mean, we talk about myself and G Cool. We talk about all the time the dating jungle, and when it comes to quitting in that and building when it comes to your intimate relationships. But let's talk about the professional relationships and the professional journey that we have. I know from the majority of conversation, I'm in a lot of business sectors, a lot of business organizations. Obviously, I'm a business professional, so I'm around a lot of business people, et cetera, et cetera. And I hear quite often the desires and aspirations of many people of how they want to achieve success in their professional career, whether it is for financial gain, whether it is for time freedom, spend more time with your family, whatever the case, legacy building, wealth building, whatever the case may be, they have these aspirations to achieve success in their professional journey, whether it's the corporate world or whether it is the entrepreneurial world, or a little bit of both. Now, with that said, what I have noticed in the corporate world, I haven't been in the corporate world for a long time, so I can't necessarily say that it is still the environment, but I would think that it would be. You've got your ones that want to climb the corporate ladder, and they do what's necessary, whether it's the right way or not the right way. They do what's necessary to climb the corporate ladder. And then you have those who are just workers. They don't love their job. They may not hate it, or they may hate it. So not necessarily talking about that sector. However, it could apply as well in the corporate world, when you want to climb the corporate ladder, but you're not willing to put in the hours, the time, the sacrifice, and all of those things that's required when you are climbing that corporate ladder. But let me speak to the entrepreneurs, because when you want to step into the entrepreneur, I've been an entrepreneur since 2005. Okay. So when I tell you I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm talking about. I've never reached millionaire status, but I've been a high six-figure earner multiple times, in my life, even through the mortgage, the real estate, crash, all of those things, and being able to rebuild, from there. What I do know about the entrepreneurial world, it takes grit, it takes stamina, it takes building relationships and the correct alignment to get where you need to get, even though a lot of times it can feel like you're alone if you're talking to those who are non-entrepreneurial, maybe your friends or family and things like that. And then when you're just grinding it out, it can feel very lonely, but it's very essential that you make alignments. Now, what I have seen, I remember, I think this was a couple years ago, a young lady that wanted to step out. I don't want to say her profession that she wanted to step into in the entrepreneurial world, because she might know who I'm talking about, and that's not my angle here. But she was stepping into that, where she worked for a firm, doing what she wanted to do and learning what she needed to learn. And then she decided to step out on her own. She was young, so she had the safety net of her parents' family. Her parents, it's not her family, through her parents. And so she was able to, be at home, winning how she wanted, and maybe she'll have a place and then maybe come back home. And which I think is okay to have that safety net. However, she had been in business on her own all of 6 months when she decided this is not for her. The entrepreneur was, she was upset, she was down, she was depressed, and threw in the towel. And to this date, from what it looks like on social media presence, that she really has thrown in the in the towel. And being in the entrepreneurial space for so long, the amount of ups and downs that I have experienced is immense. Especially in 2005, I was probably, let's see, 2005, I think I was 23. I was 23 years old. I would have been 24 that year, but I was 23 years old, not thrust into, it was a choice. The entrepreneurial world and the resources that this generation has at their fingertips now is not what appeared. It could have been there, but it wasn't. Entrepreneurship was not something that's as pushed as it is now, as prevalent as it is now. And there were none of my peers that were in that space at all. The majority of my mentors were much older and gracious enough to guide me along. But my point is, I had so many valleys because I didn't have the resources that I knew of at my fingertips the way this generation does. And the ability to be able to push through that, especially when you have such high winds. And one of the things that I learned coming from corporate America, going into entrepreneurship, I never experienced layoffs. So when I was making great money as an entrepreneur, I never thought it would end because I had never experienced that in my work world before. And then when it crashed, and my world came tumbling down. And on top of that, I was going through a divorce at that time. A separation and eventually a divorce was a devastation and travesty, but I never once gave up. And I know many people look at the things that I have going on now, whether it's in my profession as a relationship coach on the both personal and professional corporate side, whether it's speaking engagements, whether it's me as a radio host, having had my show now in the 5th season, in my 4th year. Hand claps, and anything else that I'm doing, even when it comes to the family that I have. I say this, it was not an overnight journey by far, not anywhere close to an overnight journey. And if I gave up, I don't know what I would be doing. I might be back home with you, mommy, dad, back in Virginia. But I never gave up. I saw an interview recently with Rihanna, and it was, I don't know, it looked a little older interview. And she said, I just knew. And so even in the valleys, I just knew and know, because I'm not at the peak of where I'm going to be, but I'm happy with where I am and proud of where I am now. But it was not overnight. I remember my biggest crush as an entrepreneur sitting in my office because I had to lay off my assistant, crying, like devastated. And and then the next day picking myself up and pulling it together and getting back to work and things like that. And I remember her telling me, you're the strongest woman I know. You're the strongest woman I know. And it's not that. It's like, I just knew. And I just need you all to know what your purpose is so that you will stop committing to things that you have no intention or the tools to be able to carry through. That is the point of this conversation. A lot of times, the glitz of it all, the end game, or the end goal is what people see and they want that. Forgetting to make an informed decision before committing to something, and want the glitz and the glam and the accolades and all of those kinds of things. But when it comes to anything that is at that level and at that peak level, I'm telling you, the grit, the grind, the blood, sweat, and tears that you have to go through to get there. And some are high, some are low, in terms of the level of intensity. And sometimes you get to a place where it's pretty level, like you have challenges, but you've kind of gone through that rough period. where the challenges won't break you down, and hopefully you've learned from past experiences. But I encourage, I encourage for you all, those who find yourself in the same predicaments, the same scenarios. You had a desire to earn your first six figures. You had a desire to earn your first seven figures, and you have not made any progress towards that. So let's say, for instance, you have a desire to make your first six figures, but from last year to this year, you've had an increase. You're winning. You're winning. You're moving towards that. But if you are going backwards, or you're staying the same year after year after year, or you find yourself jumping from one thing to the next and to the next, I encourage you all to do your due diligence before committing to something. I don't care if it's a 9 to 5, an hourly job, a salary job, the entrepreneur world, marrying someone, having children, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you're deciding to do, or you've put yourself in a position to do your due diligence and do your homework to make sure you have the tools. And if you don't have the tools, that you have the energy, and you have, and when I say energy, you have what it takes to know that I just need to go find the tools. I may not have all the tools, but I'm okay with that. I'm gonna go find the tools, and stop committing to things if you find yourself constantly quitting. I quit, and you have so many rationales to go with your quitting. You blame it on someone else. You blame it on the leader. You blame it on things aren't in order. Well, put it in order. If you know so much, if you know so much, and you don't like the orderly or the order or the fashion of it, what can you bring to the table to put it in order if you don't like the way that things are going? But the key is you have to stand firm in something. One of the things that I pride myself on is that people know that I'm dependable. They know that I'm consistent. They know that I will not commit to anything that I have not thought through. And I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it. And if I decide to carry on, I'll carry on. But I'm going to finish the task that I committed to. Now, there does come times where it's time to leave. But you have to know the difference between I just don't have what it takes, or I'm not willing to put in what it takes to carry it through the tough times. And then when it's time to leave, maybe you're being degraded, maybe you're being disrespected, things along those harassed, or just, whatever in those kind of lines where it's time to leave. Because it's not that it's not serving you, because gosh, if I hear that one more time, it's no longer serving me. We can say that at any time, but is it truly not serving you in that capacity? So I would encourage that you all learn to have some backbone. You learn how to sit still and build something, and just understand that if you want to be on that side of the accolades and the praise and the glitz and the glam of it all, you're going to have to get your knees dirty, your elbows dirty, a little greasy in the process. Other than that, you weren't there, when it came to build. And so, what comes with that. It's those who are willing to grind it out together, to build something big, in whatever level you're starting from, and stick in it, finish it through. If you don't want to continue on, totally fine. But just understanding the difference between you're just quitting and when it's time to leave. That is Sin's Corner. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it's time for that 7:30 crazy. Make sure you stay tuned in and share. You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. It is time for that 7:30 crazy when I read a news story. So sometimes it's from Fox News because Fox News has some crazy stories. But today it's from the Shade Room. But before I do 7:30 crazy, the late crew is here in the building. Let me introduce my girls, my loves, my sister circle. I am going to start to my left. Miss Coley, say hey to the people.
Hi, people.
And then my girl Aisha or AJ, aka AJ, say hey to the people, girl.
Good evening.
You know what? This is what we doing. We already started. And I had to save the birthday girl for last, Miss Shamika Meek.
Hey,
Say
everybody.
to the people.
Hi.
Oh,
Happy birthday
love
to
you.
me.
Happy
Thank you, baby.
birthday.
Thank
Did you
you.
actually listen to my post? Wow.
Yeah, you did. The birthday girl energy,
said
all that
it?
good
Okay.
stuff. Yes, I did. But everything today was like real quick.
I
I
know
had
you
no
weren't
time.
posting. You weren't doing nothing. I was like, where's sis
It's
at?
been a long day. I'm going to get to it though. So thank you everybody for the shout outs and the texts and the posts and
Yes,
everything. And
you
thank
look so
you, love.
pretty.
Thank you, baby. All of
Ooh,
you
well,
ladies
I was about
look
to say,
pretty.
but
Everybody
but
do.
listen,
We had to, get it together for the birthday girl. That's what this is for you, boo.
Because
And I
one
appreciate
thing,
it.
when we get together for birthdays, with the exception of my birthday this year, I said
That was
it's
on
enough,
her.
right?
That was on
It's-
Cindy B, though,
But
right?
one thing that we gonna do is step out. I don't care if it's the radio or not. Okay,
That
so
part.
it was one of them. I'm like, let me pull it together because the
But
girls
we had a
is
good
coming out.
time
Yes,
though.
we
It was
did.
good. Yes.
Always have a great
always.
time. Always. Before I get to 7:30 crazy, what is your mantra going into this year of your birthday?
Well, I think someone came up with the hashtag.
Oh,
And I actually think it was perfect. So
Okay.
blooming into 43.
I love it.
Yes.
I
So
love
that's
it. And
it.
your outfit looks like a whole bloom. Okay,
Yes.
you're already
Whole
blossoming.
Yes.
All right, so I think I probably sent this. This is for the 7:30 crazy. So I'm gonna repeat it, and we decide whether we think it's 7:30 crazy or not.
Okay, sounds good.
Cuckoo. All right, but I'm pretty sure because what did they say? It is a love language when you send memes and TikToks. Is a love language, and we do that all day.
All day.
So okay,
Talk on 2 different devices, 2 different platforms.
right,
Yes.
Text,
a whole situation.
WhatsApp, yes.
All right. So recently, I think within the last week or two, Sierra. Do y'all know what I'm about to say?
No,
Okay.
I don't think I
Sierra
know.
came out with a new song. Okay, she came out with is coming out with a new song.
Okay.
And it's called, I don't know if this is the actual title, but The Independent Don't Need a Man Lifestyle. All right. So all of that's good, right? The title by itself, totally fine. Don't need a man, independent, if that's what you want, fine. But the fact
That it was Sierra.
It's
it
not
was
her,
Sierra,
though, right?
Right. Number
Okay.
one, all our lives, she's been in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like pretty much.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you're in like a thriving
Right.
relationship.
Prayed over,
Okay,
and
prayed for and prayed over
relationship. Yes.
Is it 7:30 crazy for her, Sierra, to come out with the song "The Independent Don't Need a Man" lifestyle?
I think not just for Sierra, anybody.
Okay, single or not?
Yeah, like
Okay.
why don't you need a man? Like we're here for a reason.
I
to be
like
together.
that perspective.
So
I like that
yeah, so
perspective.
yeah, I think we're not
Yeah.
over that whole independent.
I think it's
don't need a
crazy for
man.
her to come out and say it. I don't know, like if there's an individual that feels like, okay, this is not what I want. I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want to be tied
That
down.
they
Then
live that
that's,
life,
that you
right.
live that life, then that's you. But
That's
for
true.
her, she, like you said, she's always been in a relationship. She's thriving in what seems to be a wonderful relationship, and so to promote not needing that relationship, that's not what she wants for her life. So why are you promoting that
Right.
to
What
others?
What you think,
know?
sis?
Mindful of my words here.
No, we not being mindful. Go and drink some more wine.
Right? It's to her lifestyle. So
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense unless maybe she's in a place of not feeling her best right now.
Sure.
And so this is a way of her to release that frustration. Not necessarily saying that's what she wants, but maybe sometimes
That's a
in
different
private,
perspective.
she just need a minute and want to be independent.
No, honey, she says she don't need a man. So unless she trying to leave that husband of hers,
Right.
which I doubt.
I think it's going
That
to
part.
She's staying.
Yeah, it's a she's staying. She gonna stick by him. Okay.
She gonna stick
by him. Yes.
So
That's interesting.
I like all what you all said, but I love your perspective. Like, don't nobody
Right,
should be on
yes.
that, regardless of what your relationship status,
Right.
you know, is. Like, that's like a guy come like, we don't need them bitches, you know. We don't
Right.
need them. You know, it's like,
Yes,
no,
you do.
but yes, you do. You might need to find the right
The
one.
right
part,
one,
yes.
and that could be it. Yeah.
That
But-
part.
That could be the perspective and the spin on it, right? Finding the right man. Like, you don't need that deadbeat man or that
Fact.
whatever
Right.
deadbeat
That's
quote unquote
exactly
is, or
right.
you don't
Yeah.
need that one that's not pouring into you.
Right.
Yeah.
But you still want the companionship and that,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
the partnership.
I saw some posts lately. I think was don't give me the City Girls, Miami. Don't give me the line
Young
on
Miami.
names and stuff. The one that we
Young
don't know
Miami.
if she with Puff.
That one, yeah.
that
Carisha,
one.
please.
Carisha,
Yes,
please.
yes. And then a couple others. People have been calling them out lately that they've been all these years been talking about that kind of thing while they go love on their man.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's why you can't, take in everything that you hear because those people aren't living those type of lives.
Exactly.
That's
So-
the thing. I think, yeah. Well, it's also like, let me put out something that's gonna be controversial, so I can like
Right.
cause. Because what are we doing right now? We're talking about it. So like,
Yeah.
let
That
me do
part.
something like that,
True.
and you're not even living that truth though. So it could very
Very
well be
true.
that.
I commented on a post recently. Ooh, I wish I will never do it again. I'll vet the page first.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Yeah.
this was a page known for trolling and that kind
Gotcha.
of thing. So I'm just like, well, so they were basically talking about like the Kardashians or maybe Kim Kardashian, Cardi B, and I think one other person, and they were basically like, they're trash as wives and they're hoes, or something like it was like it was pretty like
Disrespectful.
far. It was
Very.
like all the way to the left. It's like,
Yeah.
bruh, like
Right.
Like you live
it's-
with them? I didn't
Right.
know, huh?
That's,
like
that's literally what I posted. Like, oh, I didn't know they
Right.
were friends. Like,
Didn't know you knew them.
Oh my
firsthand.
gosh, it probably has over 200 comments right now.
Oh wow.
And but I've been called all kinds of things. I just be laughing and like it. I don't comment again, but I just like
Right.
everything. Even if they'll call me a bitch, they'll call me like, you the hoe they talk about. I'm like, for real, really. Like,
Right, it's like
but
people
then you
sit
go
at
to their
home.
page, it's private. So
Yeah.
I get it now, but. Somebody reasonable commented to my comment. There were like two reasonable comments, but one was like, I think Cardi B was maybe on speaking on live or something like that, and she was saying how I think something came on or the radio or something, and she turned it off real quick because her daughter came in the room. It was something along those lines.
Oh, and they trying to figure out, well, ma'am.
Well, for me, I was like, well, that might be an indicator that she doesn't really live the life or doesn't live the life anymore
More,
of what she
yeah.
raps about now that she has a daughter,
And she doesn't want that limelight. I remember a couple of years back, right when she became very popular and famous, she was like, this isn't what I want. I think she liked the idea of getting an opportunity from whatever reality
Love
show
and
she
hip hop,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Is that what she was on?
Love
Love and Hip Hop,
yeah.
I never
New
knew
York,
that.
right? New
Yeah.
York, yeah.
Well, is it also parenting? Like, is it also like you don't want to expose your kids to certain things at certain ages? Like, and so regardless of what life you're
Sure.
living, you don't want to,
Sure.
that
Either
can-
way,
I don't
it's
know,
parenting,
but-
right?
Yeah.
Either way, it's showing that she's a parent,
Yeah.
and that she understands that. And maybe I don't listen to her unless it's like a very popular
Right.
song. I don't listen to her
Mainstream
stuff.
song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so the mainstream stuff, it don't really be talking about nothing but sex. It's like, but
Right.
that's what she's doing. So with
Selling
her,
it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, I'm like, at the end of the day, you can't judge people that you don't know.
Yeah.
And you can't base your life decisions on what you see in the public.
Yeah.
But that's what social media is. That's what the internet is. Just a whole bunch of opinions, baseless opinions of people who, like
Judging
you said,
people all day long.
that's
right?
it. Like for a living. Like, do you get paid for this? Some of them
Right.
do.
Some of them do.
Yes.
Yeah. Some of them do. But at the end of the day, I said this years ago, and this was more on the before social media, when your neighbor might have the cars and it looks a certain part. And I remember my ex-husband, I remember telling him one day, I was like you can't count other people's money.
Yeah, it's out of their
you can't,
pockets.
like, you got to stay out of other people's house. I think that's what I said, because they could have the cars. They can't appear to be, whatever kind of way and be living paycheck to paycheck because they have all that. Or they might just have it. They might have it, but you don't know. Is the key. You know what I'm saying? You don't
mind
know.
your business.
Okay.
Just mind your business and drink your water.
Okay. Mind your business and drink your water.
Right. Drink water.
All right, y'all. So I think it's 7:30 crazy. I'm just gonna. It's 7:30 crazy.
I think it's a little crazy.
She
I
was
think
there to-
because
she
it's
was there
her,
to
if
sit
it was someone
down.
else, but because it's her, it's a little crazy to
someone
me.
that we I think it would be easier to swallow if it was someone that kind of lived that life or single.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more
Not
good
her.
for the city.
Right.
Not her.
Okay, right.
Right.
City girls did it. I'd be like,
Right.
all right,
Right, like we wouldn't even think nothing of it. We'd probably be
That's
singing the
probably just her
song.
target market. I think she just needs to regroup and figure out what that is now, right? Because you're not the old Sierra to Cece anymore, and
yeah,
it's like she's
it's
still
evolved a
trying
little
to,
bit.
right? Still trying to hang on to that versus like
Yeah.
evolve into this grown woman,
grown
mother,
woman.
wife, like
Yeah.
that. So,
People
yeah.
want to hear that too.
Even the
Yeah.
people that have been following her, they're pretty much at the same space that she's in.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
will
Right, from that
work
age,
with
yeah.
her and can understand what
Yeah,
she's
we'll
coming
ride
from.
with you, Sierra. Just
Right.
come on,
Right,
just
CC.
step all the way into the other side, okay? All right, y'all, that's 7:30 crazy. When we come back, we're going to get into some conversation with the girls, my sister circle. Make sure you stay tuned in and share. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Cindy.
Hey, yeah.
I was until it.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. I've got my girls, my sister circle in the building. Y'all say hey to people.
Hey, people.
Hi, people.
And of course, the birthday girl.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Mika.
You know what?
Cheers.
All right. So, yes, cheers.
Cheers.
You know,
Love you, ladies.
Love you, ladies.
Clink, 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 clink.
So, let me take a sip.
Yes, I gotta take a sip.
Hey.
Hey! Yes! It's your birthday in here tonight. I can't do too much moving.
Hey, hey,
Thank you.
So there's a few things that I kind of want to, they're not going to get the full, kitchen table talk.
Okay.
But, we want to talk to the people a little bit. But before we get into that, it's your birthday.
Yes.
And of course, birthdays for celebration, all those kinds of things. But how is, and I'm going to ask all of you all that, but I'm going to start with the birthday girl. Mm-hmm. How are you celebrating your life now compared to, let's say, maybe 15 years ago?
Wow. I think I'm celebrating it. 15 years ago. How old was I?
I know.
Subtract.
Probably wasn't even really celebrating.
We were in our 20s. I'm like 30. And carry the one over.
Ooh, barely.
Right, but we were in our 20s.
Barely, yes.
You know what?
The cusp of it.
I was hanging. I was in there barely, honey. Yes. That's a good question. I think then it's like you're racing, you're not stopping, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that, and you take a lot of things for granted. Mm-hmm. And then you realize a lot of things don't even matter.
Yeah.
So I think now it's like celebrating, just giving myself grace, and then celebrating big, small, indifferent. Everything. Listen, everything. I'm always down for a good thing.
I woke up this morning, let's celebrate.
Oh my God. Yes. It came pretty fast from when I was like, you know what? I think this will be a great show to have my girls on here.
Thank you.
And it just so happened your birthday fell on the day. That's what made me be like, oh no, this gotta happen.
Yes,
I'm excited. It was like another day, maybe not. But the fact that it fell on
it
a
was
Thursday,
perfect.
it was perfect. Yes. All right, I'm gonna go to Miss Thang over here.
Miss Thang.
She's the baby of the sister circle.
Oh,
she's the baby of the sister circle. But how are you celebrating yourself today compared to in your 20s?
That was only like 2 years ago.
Right. She the baby, y'all. She the baby.
She's our
So
baby.
I did that 15 years ago. I was just getting out of college. Okay. I was out here in these Atlanta streets.
Yes.
I ain't never had that life.
Outside then, and I'm inside now. But I wasn't as intentional about things. I just was kind of living and allowing things to happen as they were and not thinking about next steps besides what my career was.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But now I'm just really making sure I'm fine-tuning whatever makes me happy. So if something makes me happy, brings me peace and relax, like that's what I'm doing.
That's
if
it's what you
making me like, that ain't really my zhuzh, I ain't got to do that. I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm. Good for you.
Yeah. Good
Very good.
You. All right, Coley Cole, how are you celebrating yourself now compared to in your 20s? Let's say mid-20s.
I think now just understanding what like celebrating is, right? Like taking the time to actually celebrate and to think 20s you're grinding, you're trying to vision where your life is going to be 10 years from now, 15 years from now.
Right.
And so to just take a moment now and be like, you know what, I did good. Yeah. I'm proud of me.
Yes.
And I'm going to enjoy the moment. I'm going to enjoy the ride. Is there more I want to accomplish? Sure, yes, of course. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I'm going to take the little things that do happen and celebrate them each and every time I get the opportunity to. You know? So I think that's where I'm at now, where you can just really kind of bring it in and feel like all the good energy of everything that you've been working so hard for.
All the good energy.
All the good energy. And understanding energy. Like, I didn't think about energy 15 years ago, but now I understand what makes me happy a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do the things that make me happy now.
Exactly.
Versus I was the type of person that would try to go do everything, try to show up for everybody, try to go everywhere. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like, I have to kind of prioritize things that
sis, you will
make
be like,
happy.
have fun, sis.
See,
I'ma just hang with the kids and you.
I'ma just be at home.
Pull up. 15 years ago, I was pulling, and it was wearing me out though.
Right.
But then you see too, you were pulling up for everybody, but everybody's not pulling up for you.
But I'm gonna pull up for y'all in here though.
Yes.
Don't get it twisted over here now, sister. I'm gonna pull up for each one of y'all.
Absolutely.
But that's different.
Yeah. But you have to prioritize. Doing things that make you happy.
I think for me, it's all on the same lines. I definitely verbally speak on how proud I am of myself.
That's good.
Rather than just
We're proud of
keep
you
it
too.
to myself, like I've been proud of myself, but
to be
able to speak out loud.
Yeah.
And I had to be intentional about
it.
that because it was awkward for me. I felt uncomfortable. I felt like, people gonna be like, who she thinks she is? You know, or
Pressure.
okay,
Who
you
she
know,
think she
and does it, does it bring eyes on me for people to come for me?
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, but then I was like, God got me at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
You know, I'd rather put it out there, and like you don't want to like what they call inflate yourself, right?
Dim your light. We don't do that.
But no, I have to stop. I had to. Excuse me. I had to stop doing that. In terms of I feel like I've lived life celebrating, but celebrating is different for me now. Like I feel on the inside that people are celebrating me.
Yeah.
You know, just like
Genuinely.
they genuinely love me, genuinely want to be in my space.
Yes.
If I had something to give or not,
Right.
you know, I've always been one to want to celebrate life and like have experiences, but now I'm probably, and this is like, and this has been an ongoing period. Like every year it gets better.
Yeah. Yes.
And like, I think last year and coming into this year, I just feel whole for the first time, you know. Like
I love
Don't
it.
have us over here tearing.
I know, right? Like we can't even get up and hug.
Look, I was getting ready to post, I think yesterday, but I didn't get a chance. Like, they gonna be in here having us crying and stuff,
You starting it though.
I know,
Look,
right? That's just
but that's
messed
a beautiful
up. But,
thing.
you know. But even to the point where I would get teary eyed,
Yes.
is big. For me.
And vulnerable. Let's start there because we know you don't like to do that.
Yeah,
It's okay. We talking.
I know, but I think my first intentional step collectively was when I said I'm not okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you've seen me in my my down. I don't even know if I said I wasn't okay then, but
Right.
I was acting it out, but to actually say out of my mouth that I'm not okay and I cannot carry through with my commitment, because I'm big on commitment, like follow through, right? Number one. And then two, to actually, and I remember I actually deleted the message at first.
Oh, before you sent it?
Wow.
I deleted the message because the groceries were actually delivered that day, that morning, and I was just like, no, like if they're really who I say they are, then I should be able to trust and rest in them, and
be okay with it. And
But-
everybody be okay and accepting of it.
yeah, and it was like that crossover. Like y'all were already tight with, I was already tight with y'all. But it was that crossover for me,
That solidified it.
Yeah, because not just, all right, because it was like, you can do this. You can do this. Like, you can say it, right?
You can let them know.
I'm not okay.
How you really feel.
Yes.
Right? But then the response.
Yeah.
And the love and the, even though, I may not be like, yeah, come over and bring some drinks, or something like that.
Right.
But to know that y'all were ready to do whatever was necessary, that was it. Like, I was about to post today, like I F somebody up over her, and that's how I feel about all, each of you all.
Absolutely.
And everybody know that.
Yeah.
It's special.
It
is,
is.
right? To be able to
It
have
is.
it. So that's why I'm super thankful.
Yes.
Exactly.
Think about like how we
Appreciate y'all.
started.
Yeah.
Well, we all started different. But like, I guess it started my birthday.
It's gonna be a birthday
My
gathering.
birthday's magical, and just FYI, 2/23/23. So today is a magical.
It
Yes,
is.
that is so right. We gotta break that down, after the break on how we all came
Together. It was divine
sister
intervention.
circle.
Yes.
All right, y'all, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, it is time. Hey, when we come back after the break, it's time for What Would Sin Say? Make sure you stay tuned in and share. You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. It is time for What Would Sin Say, when I try as best as I can to answer as swiftly as possible the questions and the comments that you slide
The lie
in my
detector
DMs,
said that was a lie.
to my emails, etc., etc. Michael, what you got for us?
First of all, I'm not gonna use your microphone.
Thank you.
I'm gonna use this little PYTs over here.
So silly.
All right, here we go. So, what kind of husband says, hire a maid if you need help? I thought we were supposed to be partners. I need advice on what to do, or if
What?
I'm
Sorry,
overthrowing.
You read that
this.
wrong, Mike?
No, I'm reading this right. Yeah, this is actually Michael.
Well, he likes Michael, not Mike.
Michael. I'm sorry.
I'm messing with you. I work part time. We have 4 kids, one from a previous relationship. What you say? No, he not playing.
Yeah.
I breastfed, which is a job in itself. I have expressed I'm overwhelmed and need help. He cooks dinner occasionally and puts the dishes away occasionally, which to me is the bare minimum.
All right. So she want to know, what was the first part?
I thought he said he wanted to hire me.
Yeah.
Is he
He
gay?
thought we were supposed to be partners.
So she
He
said
he thought we were supposed to be partners.
No,
She said that.
Oh,
So he said because she said she's overwhelmed.
okay.
And he's like, hire some help. And so she's like, but we're partners.
She's
like,
ungrateful.
I'm trying to figure
She's
out.
ungrateful.
I would be like, thank you, baby.
She's ungrateful.
Thank
For
you.
real?
Yeah.
I'd be like, I appreciate you
That's
for
a
hearing
partner.
me.
He's being smart.
Yeah, like he knows his capacity probably isn't to do the
Yeah.
dishes every night. So let me find you help to do what you're over capacity on.
Girl, do you know
That's
how many
how your
people
partnership
mad at you
works.
right now?
Listening to you. He's listening to her. I don't understand.
Ooh.
Solution oriented.
Sorry, that was
So
because
she
I would
wants
take
him
a
to
maid
stop
right about
working?
now.
Not stop working, but she wants
Just
him
help.
to
She
to
want him
cook
to
and
do
clean
stuff.
and do
She's
stuff.
She's feeling
That may not be
she's
his
feeling
ministry.
unappreciated.
She may not
is
really
what
want
it
him to
is.
cook.
She's
Yeah.
probably feeling unappreciated.
Whatever it
think?
is, ma'am. Maybe you'll feel appreciated if you hire some help and give you some time to rest,
Right.
So that you can appreciate a man
Absolutely.
that said go hire some
Okay.
help.
Right.
Okay, because the husband didn't have to. Tell
He's
me to
just
go hire some
solution
help.
oriented to me.
She's sleep deprived. I think that's what the response
A little
is. I
bit
think she's a
delusional.
little sleep deprived.
Ma'am, ma'am. So, you have a great thing actually happening right now. Nobody's not appreciating you. He's actually giving you a solution. So let's roll with that. You will thank him
Yes.
and us
Absolutely.
later. Hire you some help. Start with the cleaners, okay? And then start with, if you don't want to have a cook, or maybe that's not in the budget, you can do some
Meal prep.
meal prep, or
Dropped
they
off.
order the tray. You order the tray. They cook it and freeze it and order the trays. Okay.
I'm still stuck.
All right, here we go.
This is what we
Question
want.
/ advice needed. Husband seems to think it is a good idea to take $10,000 out of his 401k to pretty much blow on things that he wants that I've previously said no to, due to having to prioritize expenses and to live a little, or maybe put some in our saving account. He has done this many times before, but never wanted to take out this much. What are your thoughts? He says that it's his retirement account and $10,000 is what he wants to do. He's dismissive of my concerns and thoughts.
All right, I'm gonna start with sis over here.
I got a lot for this.
Yes, let me hear it.
First of all, sir, what type of withdrawal are you taking on this 401k? Is this a loan or like a payback? That's the first
Right.
of all question.
Okay, I'm on financial
Second of
background.
all,
Right?
how many withdrawals have you taken? Because if you've done this several times, you've accumulated some money, so you are at least probably 35, 40, and really need to think about long-term retirement. And you probably need to budget and prioritize what's really important. It's going to be no, sir, and ma'am, y'all need to sit down and talk about this and budget together as a unit.
All right, sis, birthday girl.
I would just say it sounds like he needs another stream of income.
Yeah.
That's my take.
sis?
I mean, I think the same thing because I feel like 401ks taking deductions from there for like big purchases, like we're going to purchase our dream home or we're going to do something, we're going to send one of our kids to college or things like that. But for like, I want to go buy a couple things that I've been keeping my eye on.
Right.
He might be buying her those Beyonce tickets.
If we don't have it coming in the savings, we probably don't need to take it from the 401k.
Right.
We can see B on HBO whenever she comes out with this
That
special.
part,
Like,
yes.
All right, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna come from a different perspective, right?
Okay.
So I try to put myself in his shoes, and if you know me, I don't like nobody tell me what to do. So right,
I think that's all of
and
us.
so right, facts on facts. So whether it's something important or whether it's something that I want, if I worked for it and I earned it, if I decide to take the penalty to pull out my money. Then,
Is it your money?
Right, but I'm just giving some context here, right? I'm going to want to do it. Now, what's on the other side of that? How my husband responds, how it affects my family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Am I willing to deal with that is on the other side, so you have to kind of keep that in mind. If I do that and he's finally fed up, and he cuts me off on all the other finances to make sure the family's straight, am I good with that? Or if he want to leave me, like, you know what, you about to run us into the ground. So you have to think about what's on the other side of that. It doesn't sound like she has any consequences for him. So he's going to continue to do what he wants to do. He's going to get through the argument, but he's still going to do what he wants to do. And so I always talk about consequences and boundaries,
Or maybe come up with some alternative solutions. But
what if he doesn't think like that, right?
Because I need the context. What are we getting with the 401k?
It didn't
are
sound
we
like much,
right?
A new light.
Some Jordan.
I'm be honest, it did not sound
Some
like
rims
much.
for the car.
Exactly.
It did not sound like much.
A Cancun trip.
Like, if it's
So it might have to be one of those conversations like, listen, I understand and I don't want to control you. We're going to have to separate finances, right? And now if she wants to, if the family foundation, which this is not good, like for her to, whether male or female, but especially in my opinion, from my own opinion, as a female to be the sole person and I have a mate thinking about the foundation of my family, that's not right? But that's my focus. And now if I have to do something accommodating, that what's on the other side. I probably get resentful, probably won't want to be with you much longer because of the overtime, resentful, like people got to think about that kind of stuff. But when you were saying sounds like another stream of income, what if he's like not that guy? What if
this
he's
is true
not
too?
entrepreneurship?
This is very true.
It's
not
like
for
he doesn't
everybody,
even have the
right?
capacity or the like
The open mind, the mindset,
and not even open mind. They might have an open mind, but they don't have it in them. Entrepreneurship is like something in you to push you through those rough times, or that those beginning times. But anyway, it got long, but
But let me ask you this.
it wasn't quick.
that's why he always does because it never is.
Quick. There's a misalignment in finances. So they don't have the same principles, it sounds like, in finances, which is very important. So how would, as a relationship therapist, you advise her to have that conversation with her husband where she doesn't feel like she's giving him an ultimatum, but start having conversations about where the differences are and how they can get on the same page? Because ultimately it's going to continue.
How long have they
to be an
been
issue.
married?
Right, but regardless of how long, because things can change. You can be married a long time and things change, mindsets change. One is evolving, one's not, right? But she cannot control him. Period.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like he might be.
It's not what she can have as many wonderful progressive conversations as she wants, and it's still not hit home.
Right.
So at the end of the day, she has to do what's important to her. Now, if that drives a wedge later, if she's, she has to do the work on herself, being okay with boundaries and what's on the other side of that, and being able to maybe perhaps learn to communicate find the root. It's like, but if he just decides not to go to therapy, because there's something rooted there. There's something
because she was saying it's repeat behavior. Like she could be fearful. Like no one wants to wake up at 70 and find themselves in a cardboard box. Like so she could be fearful of something like that extreme happening because of his
and
lack
that could
of
be
planning.
his same reason as well. Like I'm gonna live life to. I remember talking to a gentleman. He played in the NFL, and did not keep any of that money, and so you would think like when I get back on, I'll never. He was like, no. We were having just conversation like this, and someone was like, "What if you had $50 million and like, would you leave it to your kids or something along those?" He was like, "I spend every penny."
Mentality, then.
And to him, he's like, "I want to live life while I'm here," you know. Sure. And you got to understand who you're getting into. Who you're getting into a relationship.
Invest smartly.
But that might not be what they on.
Or you may not know.
May not know.
Not for you. It's not your mate.
It's not.
It's a no for you.
All right, what's next?
Well, first of all, my wife and I, we have an amazing life insurance policy. So guess what? I'm spending all my shit.
Right? Because she gonna be good when you gone, right?
And our son.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You have to prepare.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing.
We can't hear you without the mic. I'm spending all my money. And if Tasha go first, guess what?
What?
You living. You spending all that money.
Spending all her life.
If Tasha go first, cocaine and prostitutes.
You know what? Don't believe him, okay?
All right, here we go. So, now check this out. One extreme to the next. So, my husband almost cheated on me with this girl.
No.
Almost. How'd she get almost?
Okay.
Did she walk in?
I'm not going to go too far into it, but she works at this gas station just outside of town. Well, we'll do anybody.
Outside of town.
We'll do anybody. All right. So he has a job interview for this
in Columbus,
place.
Georgia?
She's from Columbus. Sound real Columbus-ish.
Victory Drive. So he has a job interview for this place that's just right down the road from her work. And to be honest, I don't feel comfortable with him taking that job. Am I overreacting?
Ma'am.
I'm gonna need him and his girlfriend at the gas station to go on somewhere.
Give you no advice at this
She
point.
ain't gonna pop up
I'm gonna
around
tap
the
out on this
corner.
one. Syndy B said I'm gonna tap out on this one. She can't even give
real
advice.
trailer parkish mindset-ish, you know, like.
But he need a
station.
job though, right?
In the stall in the bathroom.
Right. How did you almost? How did
She
you
went
almost
there.
cheat?
Like
How did you?
she went there.
Have you all seen a fabulous woman working at the gas station? Nah.
Silence.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds
It's an
real.
additional stream of income.
If you work at the gas station,
But I guess down to the root of what she's saying, no, I wouldn't feel comfortable then. Like if you were so close to
Can we bring it to our reality?
Yeah, I guess
Because
like
it would
maybe
not be
it's
the gas.
if you feel some type of way,
is it a
Let's
bank?
do the
sis?
bank.
She works
Let's
at the
do the
bank.
bank.
Okay. Let's do that. She works at the bank. You have to go in and deposit your check.
Regularly. Tell her the
Regularly.
branch manager.
It don't matter. Because she gonna be put together at the bank regardless. Okay?
Somewhere else, right? But I mean, okay, let's do that scenario then. Okay. I think maybe a little bit, right? Just the apprehension if you came really close to doing something you shouldn't have been doing, and now you're going to be in a close proximity with this person.
He said close.
I don't know.
Be a hell no. I don't my language, but
I don't know if I don't trust that.
Michael,
Close,
you know what I'm
but
saying.
what?
seem right.
Yeah, I don't think that you should.
No, Michael.
It sounds like the birthday girl
Do
got
you know-
something. What does Michael have to say?
I
though?
guess I'm still stuck on like should he get the job? What is almost? And if you don't trust him
So
to
it's the almost in the gas station that's throwing me off. It's the almost. And she work at the gas.
Next question, Michael. No.
right.
I said, Michael, what would I say?
Is this what we doing?
Is this what we
Yeah,
doing?
that's it.
Because if you get to do it,
I get to do it.
That's always
Well, I
gonna be my
guess
answer.
that's the first. Yeah,
That's
exactly. Is this what we do?
No,
Hey,
remember
Don't say
you go to the gas station.
Remember we brought it back. Remember we brought it. We brought it
it's
to
at the
our
bank.
reality. We brought it to our
the gas
reality.
station. Yeah,
Yeah, we had the bank.
We both can go to
he
the
at the
bank,
bank, but Cindy at Wall Street.
You know, whichever.
Shit, NBA All-Star Weekend.
All right, what's next?
Oh boy, just text us back. Oh, he said that. Oh, he almost got caught. He said he just put the tip in.
Oh, don't fall for the tip. Ooh, y'all ever fell for the tip?
I can't.
Y'all fell for the tip?
The chip.
Haven't we all fell for that? Haven't we all fell for the tip?
That's just
Like-
the word. How did we fall for that?
Let me just put. What does that even mean?
Nothing. I don't think it ever worked.
Lies. Never.
Sis, don't be quiet. Brother knew there was a life before
I've been
him.
with my man
It
for
may
20
not have been.
years. I don't remember anything before.
Oh, that's what we
I
doing,
don't.
sis.
You never said just the tip. Well, y'all was together. Never. You know what?
Did.
Look.
I know it's been a long
Alright,
time.
We doing it or we ain't? That's what we at with the tip.
But that's what it really ends up boiling down to. It ends up boiling down. I mean, since you're here,
I think they just like you to be like. I think they just be like want you to be like no, yes,
since we're in the vicinity,
yes.
you know.
I
Okay,
mean, you
that's
did a lot to get
that's
to that
just dumb as
position.
hell. That's
might as
just
well.
Ooh, honey.
that's us being fake. That's what that is. We know we wanted it.
Ooh. But that's all
Can we
part
do
of
the
it.
last question?
That's
Can
all
this be
part
like
of
for
it
the
though.
next segment, please?
Okay,
Thank
sorry.
You.
We're
Thank you.
gonna come back to this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I come back to that.
Okay,
part.
we got one more.
Yes, yeah, one more question.
Okay,
You ready?
Okay, ready.
All right, so no, this is a good one though. So one of my good friends of 18 plus years just told me that he had been thinking of us lately and had his regrets that we never became a thing. We would have never became a thing. I never had attraction to him once, and now his comments have made me feel like I need to end the friendship because even bringing it up is disrespectful to my marriage. So why do you guys? Why do guys do this? We don't. Legit, one of my closest friends. What would y'all do?
That's tough. So let's talk
Break
about
the
it from a
question down,
marriage.
yeah.
Remove marriage because that's a totally different dynamic, right? So let's just say it's your homeboy for 18 years, and then he just reveals after 18 years.
After 18 years, how'd you feel 18? Sorry.
Like why?
I
think that was
Put the tip in.
I was gonna say before, like my husband. I think that was a lot of my experience. Like I thought I was friends and homies with dudes, and then no,
Then
they
yeah.
revealed, and I'm like,
But 18
no,
years
then.
is a long time. Like I could see 7 to 10, right?
Yeah,
And
I can-
married. Well,
Well, let's take
She's
the
married.
marriage part
That's
out.
right,
You
yeah.
know,
it's hard. It's a different scenario though when
Yeah,
you take
to
the marriage
marriage-
out.
yeah. So because
There's
like
two
just
different
think
scenarios,
like
yeah.
if you were single now. If you had a friend, I said single now. I didn't say single all your life, single in the last year. I didn't put your business out there. Single now, you know they listening, okay? So if a longtime guy friend that you were never attracted to, but that's your homeboy, was like, all these years, 18. We're not talking about 7 to 10.
18 years. That's a long
I
time.
wouldn't like. I would be annoyed. I'd be like, boy,
Like,
if
really,
you don't stop,
friend?
like, I wouldn't be able to
Right.
take
Friend,
him
really?
seriously.
Right.
Yeah.
So if we take the marriage out, we can still be friends. I'd be like,
Right.
boy, bye.
Right.
And I probably
Yeah.
just move on. Now let's add marriage back in. I would be so disappointed.
Yeah.
I would be
disappointed.
bummed. I would be
Yeah.
bummed.
Yeah.
I'd be
Because
hurt,
I would
yeah.
feel like I'm losing a friend at this
Well,
point.
we
now.
would.
Yeah,
There's
because
just
you're gonna
no
have
way.
to. Yeah,
There's just
Right.
there's no way to keep this up.
yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, because now you feel like you're disrespecting your husband if he's around and
exactly.
you low key. Yeah.
Like I've actually thought about that before because in whether it's my profession or what I do, I'm around a lot of men, majority men environment, or I do have male friends, and so that scenario has popped in my head from time to time, and every time when I play it in my brain, I'll be like, man, why you say that? Like, damn,
messing up
now
a
you
good
done messing up the
thing.
friendship.
Right.
You know, like I'll be pretty disappointed.
But can men really be friends with women?
I have what I believe, not many. I don't believe it can be many, and I do think that that you there may have in the beginning, like, could we, and then you pass that threshold and you never come back to it, right? Not necessarily that you did anything, but like, you know, just especially if you became friends young. But I definitely have guy friends in my life that if I tried to make a move, they probably throw up.
Okay.
Like I feel like my Morehouse brother, I have a few of them just because it was, you know, 5 of us. But like I feel like Marquise, Sadiq, like they'd be like, girl, if you don't go on,
right.
Yeah.
What you drinking? You smoking again?
okay. You know, I'm trying to think of, you know, outside of my girls' men, you know,
Yeah.
which
Right.
I feel like they probably feel the same way, but like the ones that were with me when they're in well, most of them are in relationships now, but not all of them. But where I feel like they be like, it's gonna be a no for me. I know you're probably attracted to everyone else, but I do not see you like that.
Yeah.
And then there's some where like just don't ever cross that line.
Yeah.
Like it's not no chemistry or anything like that. It's just like if you're going through something, you know, when you're going through something, like sometimes that can just make you want to make a move that you shouldn't have made. You know,
That's true.
I'm thinking something's wrong with him.
what you mean?
Why?
He just going through something at that, to your point.
Sure.
just
But
something
I do
in-
think you can have male, female, real, true brotherhood, sisterhood that you're not biological.
Do
But
you
I don't think it's-
that there's no attraction though in those relationships. Like, do you feel like if there's
Let's pause.
okay,
All right. 'Cause I love that conversation. I do want to continue on that. So that was the extended What Was Sin Say?
That felt like a whole hour later.
I know, right? We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue on this conversation that just got a little bit juicy. Make sure you stay tuned in and share. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9, and we'll be right back.
not even.
Welcome
But
back.
it is my birthday.
You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. I got my girls, my sister circle in the building. Say hey to the people.
Hey, people.
Hey, people. Happy Thursday.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
So we got our birthday girl in the building.
Hey.
Just looking fabulous over there.
Thank you, baby.
Okay. All right. So we finished What Was Sensei, but we ended off, or we had to end it because it was becoming the extended version. So we have two subject areas kind of, coming off of What Was Sensei. Can you be attracted to a friend while in a relationship? Mm-hmm. Okay. While you're in your own relationship, but you have a friend of the opposite sex, and you're attracted to them, but remain platonic.
Can you?
Can you? Think
That's the
about
question.
what's the show that just came out? The series Best Man.
Yes, like that
Tay
example
Diggs
there.
and Nia Long.
But look what
No,
happened.
Yeah,
I don't-
exactly.
that's-
Look what happened.
That's them lying to each other.
Pretty much
Exactly.
for all those
Almost
years.
gasket.
Yeah.
Exactly
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
So-
not a true. They're really good friends, but
It was still
That
there.
attraction is so
the
strong
attraction
there.
is
there.
too
Yeah.
strong.
Too strong.
And then
yeah.
if you're in a relationship and you're having like rough patches, then
Yeah.
you
That's who
Go
you
to
dip back
them.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's exactly what they did.
So
Wow.
I don't know about the attraction part to the point where you have chemistry. So I think you can know that you have an attractive
So I
friend.
guess you can
Right.
be attracted,
Yeah.
but then the chemistry is something.
Right, because you can know that
On
you
top
have
of
an
it too,
attractive
right?
friend.
Oh, yeah, you
Yeah.
fine.
I know my friend.
I'm
Right.
that
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm the attractive friend. Okay, but
I can die with this one right here.
Cindy B, okay.
yeah. But I'm the attractive opposite sex friend. Okay, but when it comes to the attraction
Yes.
and the chemistry, I just think that's just walking on thin
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah,
Setting
you're playing
yourself
with
up for
fire,
failure.
Right?
Yeah.
Essentially, a little bit. You're playing
Yeah.
with fire a little bit.
Definitely.
I think that you all are testing temptation, and you may have been able to walk through that just fine until.
Right.
Until-
It's the until.
It's the until,
somebody is
Too
going
much-
through.
with
It's
too much
always the
Remy in
going
the
through.
system one
It's
day or
always the
something.
going
Yeah,
through.
going through
alcohol.
something with the Remy in the
Yeah.
system.
And then all of a sudden it gets hot and steamy. You don't know how
That part, right.
Because
happened?
you're playing with fire.
Fire, yeah.
And you want to call that person your friend, and they're really not
Not
a
your
friend.
friend.
Yeah.
I remember breaking it off
I've
with
been
the guy
there.
I was dating, and I cut him off cold turkey in terms of how I would engage with him. You know, someone I'm seeing, I'm responding to the text, answering the phone call, I'm available, whatever. But when I told him, like, I am going to pursue someone, because we weren't exclusive, but he was like my guy, right? And I was his girl, but we weren't exclusive. But when I wanted to pursue entertaining someone that I thought could be long term, I told him, I said, okay, I gotta cut this off, and et cetera, et cetera. So
I got a question off of that one.
ooh, don't forget it. You lock it in, okay? And so he was like, okay, I guess, whatever. Because I had been trying to break it off with him for a few times, and it'd be like for 2 months, or something like that, and that's it. But this particular time, he saw I was actually serious, and he was like, but we're friends, friends still like talk to each other. I'm like, well, I don't talk to my real friends every day. Number one. Number two, let's not pretend we're not friends. We're lovers.
Yeah,
you
I've
know?
heard that
Yeah.
a couple
we're not
times.
friends.
We're just friends.
We know we're not friends.
I don't desire to be your friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what were you
Okay.
going to say, sis? Remember?
Ooh.
I told
Oh
you to
yes,
lock it
you
in.
did.
No.
Girl, it's my birthday. I'm an age older. Give me some grace, girl. Give me some grace. No, about you said you met someone else that you felt like had potential for like long term.
Yes.
What does that look like? Because that's where I'm. It's like, do you know
When you're
you know?
dating?
Yeah, you know, or like
I think you don't know if they're necessarily the one.
right, of course.
But you know that, okay, if I keep dividing my attention, I'm not going to give this what it needs. And that's the risk that you have to take, right? That it might not work.
Right.
But what I do know is this is different
Than what you've been feeling.
from anyone else, or, like you just know, but it gets to that point like, going out with someone else. Now I feel
like you don't even feel like it.
yeah.
Like you're cheating or
not
like
cheating, because I don't like that. You know, when you're single, I don't like to feel that way. But just like, I really need to give this my attention. Now I feel like I'm just doing stuff now. Like now I'm just going out with this guy just to be going out with him, rather than like if you're single and you're in that phase of dating, you won't feel that way. You be like, yeah, I'm going on this date, and then I'm going on this date. But then when you got that person that's like, something different with that person, and then you go out on a date with someone else, you're only probably thinking about that person. You're really kind of ready for the date to be over so you can text that person or call that person. That's when you know it's just like,
okay,
you're feeling the other person.
Yeah. Because I'd be like, how do... But then I
but
guess
you gotta
that's not
differentiate between the beginning chemistry vibes and like, no, I actually see something. You have to like know to determine the difference between the two, because that chemistry
you
in the
gotta wait
beginning
6
can be
months,
strong, honey.
You gotta wait till the 6 months is over.
The representative is gone, right?
Yeah, 6 months.
Yep. As long as in that 6 months you all have been seeing each other regularly, right? So if you only see each other once a month, that 6 months is extended because you really haven't spent that kind of time to get through that normal 6 month kind of thing. Okay, the second part of that is, can you be with someone like in a relationship or sex only? Which one should it be? I don't know. Let's do both. And then become friends, and they're your friend for life, and you have a whole relationship, marriage, or whatever, after that. Before I would get my little 2 cents, because sis over here looking at me, she like, tell us, sis. No. What you think?
I like to leave people where they are. If I'm done with you, I'm done with you. Because I need to be open and available for what's next. I can't balance that energy between two people like that if that's not something I'm interested in. Also, what was the other question?
No, it was the same thing. Like, it could be you were in a relationship with that person, or you just
now you're just friends.
With that person.
Yeah, you guys gotta have a conversation and decide kind of what is it. Like, are we through with the physical? We just knocking boots, or we gonna?
I feel like if you keep knocking boots, there's something
we just
there.
Gonna keep knocking
still.
She's like, we're just gonna keep knocking.
You just know it's not gonna work long term, but there's a
placeholder.
You have.
There's so many placeholders.
Yeah. What you think, sis? Can you be with someone in a relationship or sexually, and then you become friends? Like you cross that threshold, you're just friends, and then now they like at your house.
I think so. I think for women it's probably easier. I mean, because like if you're getting to know someone, we outgrow people. We realize, okay, this is not who I thought they were or what they were, but they're great, but just not for each other. I think so.
What you think?
I have friends. I have friends
It's gonna be a no.
that I have no desire to.
It's gonna be a no for me, but I have to also. My experience is like I've been with my husband since I was almost 22, so it's like the caliber of men that were boys, right? Let's be
at the end of the day.
there was no boy that I felt like I needed to carry on a friendship that was that strong at that point. So I didn't do it. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's a question actually I have. Like, can you do it? I'm not saying it's wrong or right. It's not what I've been able to experience.
So for me,
I leave them where they were.
That is my experience. One of my very, very close friends is my very first boyfriend. Not my first. But we will not be friends. That would be a lie. Okay?
I am super duper close and good friends with my first. Like that's family.
But if the first was like how my first boyfriend was, cool. But the chemistry that between my first and me, it's still there, presently, right? So it's one of those things like Ryan has one where it was like his go-to every time, and even though they haven't seen each other in years, if they saw each other, I feel like that I would be able to feel that chemistry in the room, and the same thing with my first. If that don't mean we about to
do something, right.
It's just at the end of the day, the chemistry, is what it is. So we're not gonna pretend we friends.
Soul ties.
Yeah, you just avoid it, right? Because again, you're playing with fire. If you feel like
and we're not gonna do
it. So,
But my first boyfriend, we were actually friends first.
Gotcha.
We were friends, like kick it, like have the best time, and then we end up, it was It was like one of them, because I used to have people over
like,
my
yeah.
house.
When you look up,
Like, yeah, it was
the
just like
vision is
one
right
of them
there.
nights. One of them nights it happened, and then we end up just committing and end up being dragged out 2 years, like a good year, but that second year was like he was on thin ice the whole year.
Isn't
right?
that the worst? Like
Or
you
starts
start
off
out
strong.
so good, and then you're like, "Who are you? Where did you come from, and why?
Yeah.
Go back."
But when we broke up, we never dipped back again. Like never. Now, I think he would have initially, right? But I just knew that I've never been the one to be like, I break up, we're back together, I break up. Like,
Right.
I'm like, I'll stick it through until I know that I'm done.
Right.
Because when I'm done,
I'm
I'm
done.
just done.
That part, yes.
So, even with my first, we dipped for many years, but I never was like, I'm done with him.
Right.
Like I never.
Because you knew, like, I'm not
Yeah.
done. I'm lying to
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, ain't no need, right?
I might
Let him
distance
roll back
myself because it
around,
might
yeah.
not
Right.
be good for me.
It's that comfort level, like you were
Yeah.
comfortable. They know me. I know them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, that soul tie.
And so I think, for me,
Cut it.
I remember.
Cut it.
I remember early 20s. I was out for I remember Cinco de Mayo. And I was out with a guy friend of mine. And he was like, I want you to meet someone. I think he was always trying to hook me up with people who had money. Like, he just felt like.
That's a good friend.
Right. I know. And he's like, I think 15 years older than I, so. He didn't want me dealing with nobody that didn't have money. So
That
he was
part.
like, my friend, who's from Chicago, he's here. I want you to meet him, and I just know he'll fall in love with you, and blah 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 blah. So I was like, cool. I was kind of in that space to be open to it, and I like older men. So, and he was older, and when I met him, he was older, but he was just looking good. So we're talking, and he says his name, and I'm like, are you cousins to so-and-so?
Oh,
My friend, my friend, because he had told me that he was like a big, like he was in the news, and he did time for a long time. So I heard this story.
Wait, the guy that you met did time?
The guy that I
Oh,
met,
okay.
he had not just gotten out of prison, but when I dated my ex,
He was in prison.
he was in prison. And so flash forward maybe 10 years, like he's not long out.
Wow.
He was like a big in the drug game, like on a big scale. And so I heard this name for so many years.
Yeah.
And so when it's just not many, I can't remember his name now, but I remember his name then, and of course the last name. And so I was like, in Chicago, being from Chicago, right?
Gotcha.
So I was like, you wouldn't be happen to be cousins to so-and-so. He was like, yeah, that's my cousin. I was like, ooh.
It was
That's
nice meeting
nice.
you.
nice meeting
But
you.
no. That's not what happened, because at this point in time,
That's just your friend.
that's
right?
my friend.
That's just your friend.
However,
So-
this is his cousin, right? At the end of the day, this is
Right.
his cousin. So I actually called him. I called him. I said, I just met someone that I thought was one of, and I realized that this is your cousin that you told me about. Would you mind if I, entertained him? And the only thing he asked, he was like, I just want to make sure you and I never have a chance of being together again. I would say we never have a chance. Ever.
Broke that man hard.
Look,
But
yeah.
he said it in a way, it's like, just want to make sure,
Yeah.
you and so he was like, have at it,
That was nice of you.
Yeah.
I've just always been an upfront person.
Yeah.
It hasn't always
Tell you
worked in
what
my
it
favor, but unfortunately, thankfully, swiftly, his true self revealed himself over the phone. Very
Gotcha.
controlling.
Yeah.
Very, very, very controlling. You
You're
saw
like,
it.
not for me.
I was like, oh, I'm going to exit stage
Yeah.
left very
Right.
quickly.
Now.
Thank you. Bye.
So that right. So we've just proven over the years that we are just truly. We just went back to how we were before we decided to take it
That
to the
little
next
blip
to
in
the
time
next step. And he was someone that I talked about from the beginning. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, like we're 6 months into our relationship, like, oh yeah, my friend. And then 6 months later I'd be like, oh yeah, we were together. Like you
Right.
if
They
you're
knew
real
up front.
friends,
Yeah.
if you're really friends, you say what it is what it is, and as long as the energy matches what you're saying,
yeah.
and they him and Ryan, speak way more than we do.
Oh, okay.
When me and my girls, was it
So
me?
mature of everyone.
Yeah, when
Look at this one. She was like,
but I'll tell you a scenario.
I wish you would.
So I'll tell you a scenario where you still gotta respect the lines, right? So my girlfriend was getting married, one of my roomies, because they, we're he and them, or So we were all in Cali, and that's where he lives. And Ryan had called him, made sure that we were all, he gonna make sure we good anyway. But Ryan made sure that we were all picked up from the airport and all of that. He was having baby mama drama, and so we had a big suite or something like that. And so Luana, who is true brother, like that's her true brother, like for real. She was like, "Oh yeah, he can just crash with us." I was like, "It's gonna be a no." like at the end of the day,
right?
Like,
I'm married. Yeah,
I'm married, and so amongst you all, and then two, it'd be one thing if he was down and out. He not down and out. If he want to be close to the, come to the wedding, he can get his own hotel room. So you still have to have like
boundaries.
Yeah,
right?
you still have to have boundaries and respect, because if my husband called me and be like, "Oh yeah, Stacy's just sleeping in the sweet part of it."
Right.
Okay, well, what happens at 2:00 in the morning? She got to use the bathroom and she got on her night clothes. Like, come on, let's just be straight up with that. At the end of the day, we not blood. At the end of the day,
it's just like, if there's temptation, just don't do it. Like, avoid.
Don't play with fire.
That. Yeah,
Just
that's
don't
it.
play with fire.
but I've learned that people play with fire pretty often.
That's the
because
fun
they think
part.
they're stronger
The
than what
adrenaline.
they.
Yeah,
they
that's
get
what I said.
from
That's
it,
the
right?
fun part. That's
the rush they get from it.
But not always that. They think they're stronger
Yeah,
than
than what
their
it is,
temptations
patient.
because maybe they're not in that space in the moment. But you got to be wiser.
Oh
than
yeah,
the
once
space
you
that
get
you're
in it,
Yeah.
child,
right? It's like
you be having a little red man and a little white man.
right.
Be like, girl, go and do it. Dust them cobwebs off, girl.
Ooh, okay. But it's just in anything in life, right? Just like with what would Sensei, and he want to spend the money. It's like the decisions we make, though.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, stop playing with fire.
Yeah.
And think about
Agreed,
the long term if something else would happen, right?
Yeah.
So he can go out and he can go spend all the money. Not spend all the money, but he can spend it's not something might not happen, then something happens.
Yeah.
Be that one
But we
thing,
live
that one
in
thing.
instant gratification. Like with social media, everything is just instant.
You want it now. You want it now.
Instant
You want it now.
microwave popcorn.
What was that? I think Love and Hip Hop. Was it Love and Hip Hop? And she was like, "These popcorn chicks." I can't remember that DJ, that Atlanta DJ. Anyway, that was so
Tracy
random.
Steele?
I think so.
A girl?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's hilarious. Popcorn
Like
chicks.
popcorn chicks.
What is that?
I don't know what that meant, but when you saying popcorn, it made me think
The
of that. So random.
Right,
Like
the
that one, I'm like,
instant girl.
squirrel. This random thought.
Huh?
Instant with no skills.
Oh.
Oh well.
So, I was talking about that on Sin's Corner today about, not knowing how to build or not standing firm in something to build it. I think from our generation, we just know we got to build what we want. And I think this generation, like you said, so instant gratifying. And the reason why I think that they're suffering from depression and anxiety so much, because that's actually not real life.
Right.
Not happening.
Right.
Like they're getting depressed because things aren't happening or unfolding like they want them to.
And then comparing.
and like
And comparing.
because even like people I talk to, I'm like in the corporate space, but like I've been with the firm for a year, and like this is and they have these ambitions and everything, and I'm like, well, you gotta do a little bit more work before you're like
Talk about a year.
vice
Right.
president.
Yeah.
Like it's just
somebody
like
your daddy or something.
Right.
Like you just gotta put in your time. You gotta show the work
And it's really, you
it's just
might
instant,
have the
they want it.
skills.
Yeah.
Right.
You might have the skills, but any upgrade that I've ever experienced is from me putting in the work first.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, and I know I have the skills. I could walk in there and be like, but it's Syndy B.
Let the
And they'd
people
be
know.
like,
That part. Yeah.
who that?
Right. Yeah.
like
Very true.
at the end of the day, people need to see, just like you want instant gratification, these days they want to see.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Proof.
I think in our
Yeah.
generation, they would give us a chance, right? Because we weren't burned. They weren't burned as much. Now,
Right.
now the generations have come,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of bit burning going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And
This
so
is true.
people are
Yeah.
weary of the promises that people make.
Yeah.
Whether it's
It's kind of like show me what you do, and then we'll have a
Right.
conversation.
and then
Yeah.
we'll talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we might,
we
Right.
might,
Yeah.
exactly.
Then the flip side of it is, then there are so many that are doing so well. Like, to be living in this generation and young, to becoming a millionaire at such a young age, having access to everything.
Yeah.
I think about, we had Wikipedia. We didn't have
dial-up.
Google.
We had
dial-up.
encyclopedias,
That's right. We didn't have Wikipedia. We had Encyclopedia Britannica.
Yeah, and to get on the computer was a whole process.
A dial-up, an AOL dial-up. Yes.
So I was talking about that earlier. It's like if I had, and the resources might have been there, right? But it was not, you know, it wasn't as common, you know, back when, especially when we talk about entrepreneurship, right? That wasn't. I wasn't surrounded by entrepreneurs like I am now.
That is
never
changed.
Yeah.
Even the last 10 years, that's changed.
Dramatically.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about relationships where self-care and therapy is now more common. That was not,
especially in the Black community, right? Like,
absolutely,
more
family
receptive
business
to
and
it.
men actually going to therapy. Like, I meet I meet a lot of men, but
we know what your mess is.
but you know, just like talking, like a lot of them, even like half of them are like, yeah, I go to counseling, you know, therapy, and my therapist said da da da. I'm like, oh, you go to, like, this is amazing, this is wonderful. So
so
kudos to them.
Right.
We did not get them benefits. You know, it was not. They were there, obviously. You know, but it was not. It was not common. It was not. I remember when starting in the entrepreneurial world, I was the only one outside of you might have been a real estate agent or a loan officer.
Yeah,
that was it.
Right. Yeah.
But the actual entrepreneurial world, I was the only one at early 20s. You know, and folks looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, like, like it's
you
not
better go
for
get a
us.
job.
Like, right, because it's
Yeah.
not for us. Like, it's for the upper echelon. It's for the Caucasian. It's not us.
Right.
You
Right.
know? And so I think about this, you know, this generation just in general. And I was speaking on that in Sin's Corner. Like, if they could learn to sit still and build, I think they would be so much, you know, better off in their self-esteem. Because I think a lot of how they feel about themselves is you accomplishing something.
Yeah.
But you can't accomplish something
if you don't give it a chance.
if you don't give it a chance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You think about even artists, like you know, artists, it normally takes, or used to take them about 5 to 10 years before they even blew up. Now it's like, oh, let me make this
YouTube
auto-tune beat real quick and go viral on TikTok, and you know, like one hit wonder.
I think I posted a makeup artist that I worked with back in the day passed away from stage 4 cancer, and in my post it was like, he supported me, like he was way out of my budget, but he didn't just leave me hanging. You know, he was like, tell me what your budget is, and I'll send someone from my team that fits in your budget. Because I was doing content before content was a thing, right? It just like in my brain, I always knew that things needed to be documented, and they needed to be documented in a grand way,
Right?
You know,
you had a vision.
yes,
You were able to have the patience to withstand all of the challenges to see it through. And that's what a lot of people, they don't really have the visions. Like, ooh, I want to do this and I want it to happen because so and so did it.
Yeah.
But each body,
and when you don't have support, you know, and sometimes you don't have support because you just got haters. And sometimes you just don't have support because they just don't know it. You know,
Right.
like that's foreign. That's like, you know, our parents like go to school and go be a teacher, go be whatever, and you be like, oh, but I want to do music. They be like, the hell, they ain't paying about to pay no bills. You know,
it's gonna be just like your uncle out there.
At the gas station,
and he can sing and dance his ass off, but he over there in the corner right now. You go on 35th Street, you know. Yes. You know, and so I think about, you know, what people see that I'm accomplishing now, right? Or that you're accomplishing, you. But just speaking on myself, like, y'all don't understand.
right?
This is not
It's
overnight.
years and years.
Like this, like visions, like whether it's my business, the Unbroken Experience, whether it's radio, like I look at work. I look at visions. I sent a screenshot. This was 2009, where I have documented. I was putting together PDFs back then. I had celebrities on there like they was about to be in.
Listen, let me tell y'all about this one because we go back 2005.
Yes, 2005. Yeah.
Ooh, you were the same person, like literally the same person, but obviously upgraded or whatever you want to call it. But was always like a hustler. I remember it was a certain situation, and you was like, "I gotta get X, Y, and Z for this."
Yeah,
and I was like, "This bitch did it."
Yeah,
it was like okay, like always, always. So whatever you saw your sights on, whatever you wanted to do, like you did it, and you are still doing it.
Thank you.
Yes. So
thank you for that. And I was mentioning earlier, Rihanna. I saw one of Rihanna's like maybe older clips, and she was like, "I just knew."
Yeah.
Right. And that's how I feel now. I just knew, and I know because I'm not. At the play, I'm not at my peak, right? So I just knew, and I just know. So if I can just stay the course,
yes,
you know, in the ups and downs, and when I look over my journey, whether it's my personal life or my professional life, I don't want to do it over now.
Yeah,
you know, but it's like when you go through it and you look back, you be like, damn.
But it makes you such a better. It makes you such a better person, and it prepares you for what the ultimate purpose and goal is.
Because I know when you know what you know now, and you look back, like I wasn't ready.
Yeah,
I wasn't. Either the vision
wasn't
developed.
Last week I did a panel and I talked about everyone's journey is specific to them. And so it's hard. Like when you're young, you compare yourself. Like I want to be this when I grow up and I want to be at this point when I'm at this age. But you're at where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone's journey is unique and individual to each person.
Yep,
and so it's trying to like, if you could tell your younger self that and just calm down and keep doing what you're doing. But you get in your head sometimes when you're young and then
and
to
I
get
still
here.
get in my head. I was thinking the other day, like, girl, you're 42. You're about to be 42 and you're just...
No,
like you're
don't do that.
I mean, I'm good.
I know,
you know
I know.
But like,
we're
I still
human.
have to talk to myself.
Exactly.
Like
Human.
sometimes, like, damn,
all
42,
the time.
like I would have been living the life, you know.
Listen, that's the same thing.
Oh my gosh, I'm like 42,
you question,
and you're just like. You know, in that
Riding the wave.
And it's like, damn, I couldn't get there at 29.
Right, listen, that part.
The lesson in all of this is you have a story, you have a journey.
Absolutely.
And me stepping into this new entrepreneurship role full time, it's a blessing to have someone share their experience and not just being my sister, my friend. You know, I can call you and say, hey, I'm trying to figure this out, not really sure what this is or how do you do this. To your point, a lot of people didn't have that. So
the resources.
You have the platform to do what you do and you see what your vision is to share that and pass that along to someone else because your testimony is really what's helping somebody else get through.
Absolutely.
Whatever they're trying to do.
I take that with my personal life and my professional life. You know, I do remember a time in my personal life, not necessarily, you know, going through divorce and things, but like my younger life.
Where you felt like you needed a guidance or someone to be like, hey.
You know, but not just that, where I was ashamed of my experience. Like I was ashamed, you know, of the struggle that I had, you know, at 17, 18, literally financially out here on my own, you know, having an eviction for a long time.
Did you say at 17, 18?
I was 17 when I moved out, when I came to Selma, I was 17. And then at 19, I had my own place. I really couldn't afford that place, but I couldn't afford to pay the housing deposit when the housing deposit was due.
For school.
So I didn't have room and board my sophomore year. And I remember one of my college roommates, you know, she had that small bed and I would climb, two of us from the freshman year roommate. One slept on the floor and then I slept in the bed with her. And like, I swear it was smaller than a twin bed. It just seemed small, you know. Super small. And because she didn't like to eat on campus, she would let me have her food card. And that's how I ate.
Wow.
But you know what I realized throughout life is like God always placed angels and people in your life at the time that you need it.
That you need.
Yeah, always.
I'm so thankful for that. And I don't know how people go through life not having faith.
People.
You
got to.
Definitely have to.
You do.
Boy, because I'll be
I had that blind faith
during those valleys.
Yeah.
And be like, and then when you look back though too, it's kind of like, how do we do that? Because I even did that with you. And I'd be like, remember when we were doing X, Y, and Z? How do we come? Like,
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to do it again. You right.
Go through it again, but then you come out proud of yourself too when you look at where you're at today,
like,
and now like look at what we did. Like
like it gives you something to be proud of when you can sit in the pocket for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm a true believer. If you can just stay the course, you will get there.
Yes.
It's not even staying the course. It's staying out of your head and the negative self-talk, and just knowing to have just enough. The daily bread is sufficient to get you through and worry about the next, because we focus so much on what the future, what the long term, what I need to do next month, next week to get there, and it's not happening quick enough. So you have all this kind of chatter in your head that you're trying to quiet down, and that's where the discourse comes from.
And I think outside of your faith, and I won't necessarily always say family, because family, you roll the dice. It is what it is. You know, some of us are blessed to have a good family, and some, geez, like, and when they have that success story, like, ooh, you made it, you know, because you know, but. What I'm thankful for in you all, and you know, and I know we all have extensions, you know, of a sister circle. I feel like there's no sister circle like this one, but
don't get it twisted.
You know,
As she said.
However, but you all know, like my roomies, my Spelman roommates, they are just like, I don't even know how to explain them. That I, like how I feel about you all is how I feel about them, and to go, gosh. Is it 22, 23 years now, you know, with them, and we've never had a falling out. We've never. And that's what I know. When I have a fallout with someone, it's like, but I can go through life and not have a fallout. You know, it's like communication. Right? But what I do love in our sister circle is that we have each other to celebrate us in times of celebration and hold lift each other up. You know, when we are not feeling our best. You know,
absolutely.
And we will pull up with a bottle of wine.
Baby, we'll do. Honey. And if we ain't got nothing else to say, we're going to drink that wine and put on a show. Eat some food. Okay. Those three elements every single time. But I'm so glad that you all stopped by.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us. It was
you
fun. All look fabulous.
Thank you.
It was a great
so do
circle
you.
conversation.
Thank you.
It's a wrap, y'all. Y'all know how this time goes.
So fast.
You all know what it is. The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. And I see you next week. Bye.
Go, shawty.
Turn up
It's
now.
your birthday.